It took me more than 30 years to realize what I'm about to tell you in the next few minutes. And the reason it took me that long is because life has a funny way of teaching you lessons. It doesn't come with a manual, it doesn't come with warning signs, and it doesn't always hand you answers the moment you want them. It gives you experiences. It gives you pain. It gives you people who disappoint you, and it gives you moments where you disappoint yourself. And if you're paying attention, if you're willing to sit with the discomfort instead of running from it, you realize that everything you've been through has been teaching you the same handful of truths over and over again. Truths that you either accept and change your life with, or ignore and keep repeating the same cycles. I used to think success was about arrival. I thought once I got the right job, once I got the right relationship, once I made enough money, then I'd feel fulfilled. Then I'd be happy. But 30 years in, here's what I've learned: fulfillment doesn't wait at the finish line. It's not a prize you unlock after a certain amount of effort. Fulfillment is the way you run the race. It's in the small, unglamorous, overlooked moments. It's in how you treat the waiter, how you handle rejection, how you respond when someone cuts you off in traffic. It's in the words you choose to speak when nobody's recording. It's not in the big, loud moments. It's in the quiet, private ones that reveal who you really are. I wish someone would have told me that earlier, because I spent so much time trying to impress people who weren't even paying attention. I spent years chasing approval from people who probably didn't even think about me twice after I left the room. And maybe that's where you are right now, working yourself to exhaustion, bending over backwards, performing, editing yourself, trying to be liked, trying to be noticed. Let me save you 3 decades of frustration. Stop. Stop living your life waiting for a stamp of approval from someone else. Because the truth is, no matter what you do, some people won't like you. No matter how perfect you try to be, someone will criticize you. And if you base your worth on their applause, you'll spend your entire life as a prisoner of their opinions. Another thing I learned after 30 years is that pain is not punishment. For the longest time, I thought every failure, every heartbreak, every rejection meant I wasn't good enough. I thought it meant something was wrong with me. But here's the thing: pain is not always there to harm you. Pain is a teacher. Pain is an invitation. Pain is the mirror that shows you what's been hiding in your blind spots. And the quicker you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? The quicker you'll grow. Some of the most painful chapters of my life became the most powerful ones because they forced me to stop pretending, stop hiding, and start becoming honest with myself. I'll tell you something else that took me too long to figure out: forgiveness is freedom. I wasted years holding grudges, replaying scenarios in my head, wishing I could go back and give people the punishment I thought they deserved. But do you know what actually happened? They moved on. They forgot. They lived their life. And I was the one carrying the weight. Forgiveness isn't about saying what they did was okay. It's about saying, I'm not going to let your actions hold me hostage anymore. When you forgive, you let yourself walk out of the prison you've been keeping yourself in. And you realize the lock was never on the door. It was in your hand the whole time. And if I could put everything I've learned into one sentence, it would be: this life changes when you take responsibility. Not when you blame, not when you wait for someone else to fix it, not when you sit around hoping circumstances will magically get better. Life changes when you look yourself in the mirror and say, this is on me. My growth is on me. My healing is on me. My future is on me. Because the truth is, no one is coming to rescue you. And as scary as that sounds, it's also the most empowering thing you can realize. Because if no one is coming to rescue you, it also means you don't have to wait. You can start right now. So, after more than 3 decades, here's what I know. People matter more than things. Growth matters more than comfort. Consistency matters more than intensity. And love, real love, starts with the way you speak to yourself. If you can't treat yourself with kindness, if you can't extend grace to your own mistakes, you'll never be able to fully love or lead anyone else. You've probably been told that time heals all wounds. That's not true. Time doesn't heal anything. You can carry the same wound for 30 years if you don't face it. Healing comes from honesty. Healing comes from facing the parts of yourself you'd rather avoid. Healing comes when you stop pretending to be perfect and allow yourself to be real. That's when the weight starts to lift. That's when you realize you don't have to keep proving yourself. You just have to keep showing up as yourself. I don't know what 8 minutes feels like to you, but here's what I want you to remember after these words: stop waiting. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for somebody else to validate you. The life you've been waiting for is already in front of you. It's in the way you choose to live today. Don't waste 30 years figuring that out like I did. Take it now. The older I get, the more I realize that life is not about having all the answers. It's about asking better questions. For so long, I chased clarity like it was the prize. I wanted to know exactly where I was going, exactly what the future would look like, exactly how it would all work out. And every time life surprised me, every time the road twisted, every time things didn't go the way I imagined, I thought I had failed. But what I didn't understand is that uncertainty is not a punishment. It's an invitation. Uncertainty is where growth happens. Uncertainty is where faith begins. Uncertainty is where you discover strength you didn't even know you had. You don't have to have every step figured out to start walking. That's something that took me decades to believe. I used to wait until I had the perfect plan, until the timing was right, until I felt ready. And the truth is, you never feel ready. Readiness is a lie your brain tells you to keep you safe. If you wait for ready, you'll wait forever. Growth doesn't come from being ready. It comes from being willing to try, willing to fail, willing to look foolish, willing to admit you don't know everything, but you're going to take the next step anyway. Another truth I've come to accept is that not everyone will understand your journey, and that's okay. I spent years wasting energy trying to explain myself to people who had already made up their minds. I wanted them to validate me, to agree with me, to cheer me on. But sometimes people can't see your vision because it wasn't given to them. It was given to you. And if you keep waiting for their understanding, you'll stall your own progress. Some people are not meant to walk every chapter of the journey with you. And that doesn't make them bad people. It just means your paths are different. Let them go with gratitude and keep moving forward. I've also learned that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. We live in a world that tells us failure is final, that it's embarrassing, that it's something you should hide. But failure is a teacher that doesn't sugarcoat its lessons. Failure is feedback. Failure is information. Failure says, not this way, try another. And if you can take failure without making it your identity, you will grow faster than most people ever will. The people who succeed are not the ones who never fail. They're the ones who refuse to stop after failing. One of the hardest lessons for me was patience, because we live in a culture of instant results where everything is one click away, one swipe away, one shortcut away. But the most important things in life, healing, relationships, character, wisdom, cannot be rushed. They take time. They take showing up when it's boring. They take discipline when no one is watching. They take faith when there's no evidence. And when you finally see the results, you realize the waiting wasn't wasted. It was shaping you. If I could give you just one piece of advice that cost me 30 years to learn, it's this: stop comparing your timeline to anyone else's. Comparison will rob you of joy faster than almost anything else. It will make you believe you're behind when you're right on time. It will make you discount your own progress because you're measuring it against someone else's highlight reel. Your path is yours for a reason. Your timing is yours for a reason. Don't let comparison steal the beauty of your own becoming. So here's the truth. Life isn't about getting everything perfect. It isn't about being the smartest, the fastest, the richest, or the most impressive. Life is about becoming someone who can look in the mirror and honestly say, I'm proud of how I showed up today. That's it. That's the win. Because if you can stack enough of those days together, if you can live consistently with integrity, kindness, and courage, then no matter what you achieve, you'll know you lived fully. And that's worth more than any trophy.